Hey guys, welcome back. We're doing a Bible reading once again. Getting it open right now, so give me 1 second. So, we are continuing our story from yesterday, and we are finishing up chapter 41 from yesterday. So, this is Genesis chapter 41, verses 37 through 57. And this is called Joseph's Rise to Power. The proposal pleased Pharaoh and all his servants. Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find anyone else like this, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has shown you all this, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall order themselves as you command, only with regard to the throne, and I be greater than you." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt." Removing the signet ring from his hand, Pharaoh put in on Joseph's hand. He arrayed him in garments of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in the chariot of his second in command, and they cried out in front of him, "Bow the knee." Thus he set him over all the land of Egypt. Moreover, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without your consent no one shall lift up hand or foot in all the land of Egypt." Pharaoh gave Joseph the name Zabeheth-Panai, and he gave him Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, as his wife. Thus Joseph gained authority over the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. During the 7 plenteous years, the earth produced abundantly. He gathered up all the food of the 7 years when there was plenty in the land of Egypt, and stored up food in the cities. He stored up in every city the food from the fields around it. So Joseph stored up grain in such abundance, like the sand of the sea, and he stopped measuring it. It was beyond measure. Before the years of famine came, Joseph had 2 sons, whom Asenath, daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore to him. Joseph named the firstborn Manasseh, for, he said, "God has made me forget all my hardship and all my father's house." The second he named Ephraim, for God has made me fruitful in the land of my misfortunes. The 7 years of plenty that prevailed in the land of Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began to come, just as Joseph had said. There was famine in every country, but throughout the land of Egypt there was bread. When all the people of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, what he says to you do." And since the famine had spread over all the land, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe in the land of Egypt. Moreover, all the world came to Joseph in Egypt to buy grain, because the famine became severe throughout the world. Okay, so let's talk about this. So this clearly continues from the last story we talked about. And in this one, we hear about the famine and the abundance over the 7 years of greatness and the 7 years of famine. So Joseph is with the Pharaoh, and they're in the 7 years of great abundance, and all this food is being multiplied, an abundance of food basically for all the people. And the Pharaoh, right, is taking 1/5 of that and storing it away with Joseph's help. And Joseph is becoming powerful because everyone is learning about what Joseph can do and in the interpreting, and he's right beside the Pharaoh, so he gets that power as well. And people are learning about him and learning about how the abundance of food over the 7 years is happening. And then even more when the famine happens, he becomes even more powerful because a lot of people come to him during the famine to get that extra food that Egypt stored, because Joseph warned the Pharaoh of it through the dream, of course. And he also gets a wife and a few kids as well that we learn about from the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh gives him a wife and a few kids. But I think the majority of the story is Joseph started in this place of prison for and he didn't do anything wrong. We learned that a few times ago. He didn't do anything wrong, but he was in prison and God was with him. And then he got all of this power by interpreting dreams through God, right? And through these people. And then he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, and we learn, and he becomes powerful with the Pharaoh because he interpreted that dream, right? So we learn about this, and he gets a wife, and he has kids, he has a family now, and everyone basically knows him all over the world because of what he did. And we're gonna learn later what happens in Egypt and the world after this famine, during this famine. So we're gonna learn about that in the next chapter, which we will start on Monday. And that's about it. Let me know what you guys think. Whatever. So I will see you guys tomorrow for our next Bible reading, and we'll start chapter 42. Not tomorrow. We'll start chapter 42 on Monday. So I'll see you guys then. I hope you have a great weekend.